Speaking of PlayStation and physical media, pretty soon, according to a new story here in Deadline, you're not going to have to say those two words, those two phrases together anymore. Because Sony has announced that they are actually going to be phasing out physical video game discs by January of 2028. And as a matter of fact, they've already started the process because, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think they already even announced that the new GTA 6, is the highly anticipated GTA 6, is only going to be digital. Apparently, they're not going to be.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, they announced they're not going to be.
And you can
selling
already
disc
pre-order
for
it, John.
Yes, you can. You can already
Why would you
pre-order
ever-
it. What's that?
Never pre-order a game. Why would you pre-order for? There's no point to pre-ordering a game, especially a
It's
digital
very
copy.
hard to get, dude. Come on.
Digital copy? That doesn't make sense.
Maybe for a few hours.
You know how many people are going to download that game? That
For a
is the
few hours.
Avengers Doomsday of video games.
But unlike physical, where you'd have to maybe wait weeks for supply to get caught
exactly.
up,
That's what I mean.
You might have to wait a few hours, right?
Crash
so
servers,
that's all
baby.
coming, but it's not. That's just the beginning. They are phasing out all the physical media. They go on to say this over at Deadline. Sony PlayStation Wednesday said it plans to end production of new video game discs, a feature of the media and entertainment landscape for nearly 3+ decades, by January of 2028. The decision, laid out in a company blog post, follows a recent announcement from Take-Two Interactive Rockstar Games that its long-awaited title, Grand Theft Auto 6, will be digital only. Steady declines in physical game disc sales mirror the patterns in home entertainment and music business. Vinyl records have been a bright spot, however, staging a big comeback for music labels and topping $1 billion in sales last year for the first time since 1983. Netflix wound down its DVD mail service in 2023. So they go on to quote Sony, basically saying, listen, this is what our consumers want. They got to a point where like 90% of our game sales are digital. So why would we continue to put resources and energy into making the physical things? Now, personally, I think that's obviously pretense. They would love for this whole thing to move to digital, obviously. But even though it's just fake pretense, the data is actually accurate. The vast majority, guys, over the last couple of years, more and more people have simply been buying their games digitally. I know, like, even when Ann and I have a game we want to play, we don't want to run to the store. We just open up our PlayStation, say, there's the game we want. Buy. That goes back to the issues we were talking about in the last topic too. But this is more of a story about where does it go? Because we've often seen that these things are joined together, right? The different entertainment mediums have a symbiotic relationship. As one thing goes, the other vectors start to follow. And as we've seen a decline in physical media players, one of the last bastions and havens has been the Xbox and the PlayStation. Well, as of a couple of years ago, they even started phasing those out. And now they're even saying they're getting rid of this on the physical media level. So the real question about this isn't about video games, although for other people it will be. For us here, though, the real question is about, do we see this as a canary in the coal mine moment, or more of a harbinger of bad things to come, or the continuation of the decline of physical media for the movie and entertainment verticals? And I think the answer is yes. Like when they even stopped making these discs for games, because Rob, we were talking about the fact that a lot of companies stopped making physical players. Well, if video games stop making physical discs, that's going to put a major strain on the companies that make those discs. And is there even enough business for them to continue doing it? Look, I'm not saying this means all physical media is gone in 2028. Not at all. I'm not saying that remotely, but it's bad news. Rob, you saw this. How do you think this does or does not connect to the world of movies and physical media buying?
It's dire. I mean, this is the beginning of the end. And when I say that, as somebody, like, this is my 46th year of life that I've collected physical media. I started working in a video store called Video Space in Seattle when I was 13 years old. There was no Blockbuster. Hardly anybody had VCRs. And so I've been collecting various formats, whether it was VHS, Laserdisc, DVD, 4K. This is the last bastion, because think about how many PlayStations there are in the world. There was a lot of players put in those. Not everybody got a PlayStation 5 that had a disc player in it, but a lot of people did. And that was the most, I would imagine, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the most mass marketed disc player were in game systems. And to lose that is catastrophic. It's catastrophic. And with the amount of people leaving, I mean, you can tell even now, the studios themselves are not particularly interested. They released a few things. It's all of the boutique labels that are licensing out movies. I mean, Disney has done barely anything at all with the Fox library on physical media since they've bought it. There's no 4K discs, like I said, of the first 5 Planet of the Apes movies, Patton, The French Connection, big classic films that won Academy Awards. There's no 4K discs. And the studios just don't care. And they'll put out everything digitally because it's a lot less money, it's a lot less headache. And once they've done it, and made 4K transfers, they're not going to go and make 8K or 16K transfers, because the human eye can't perceive those things. So to me, this is catastrophic for the future of physical media. Now, I love my boutique label discs. I'm always buying new things from new boutique labels, but it's not going to last very long. Look, as long as Severin gets me Near Dark, Catherine Bigelow's Near Dark, I'm good.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, it's not a surprise to hear this, but it's stunning to actually see it in print in front of your eyes, that Sony is going to phase out physical discs for their PlayStation, and the ramifications that could have for all the other verticals like movies and television for using discs. Anyway, whatever you guys think about it, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys.